conversation. Let's start the conversation as we mean to go on. So this was almost an emergency call. I don't want to say an emergency meeting because we don't buy into the fear and the stories of what's happening in the world. And at the same time, as we're going to talk about tonight, everything is about us stepping into the new paradigm. We are absolutely creators of our own reality. And at the same time, we have this weird, crazy juxtaposition within our lives, even though we might know this in our heart and soul, that sometimes we get sucked into the 3D reality that we live in. And we might start to notice things that are going on in the world that seem to start impacting our day-to-day life, even though we're aligning ourselves, keeping ourselves in flow, focusing ourselves positively. Sometimes there are outside forces which influence our day-to-day life experience. Does this make sense to everybody? Anyone feeling the energy of outside forces influencing their life right now? Just a quick show of hands. I'm assuming that's probably why you are here this evening or on this call, whether you're watching this live or catching the replay. And so everything I'm going to talk about tonight is with the knowledge that we absolutely create our reality. And what I want to share with you today is how we can navigate this pathway and important things that you need to do. We all need to do, because the world is going through a global shift. And in many ways, that's amazing. And you'll see me talk about this in a minute, because it means that the old paradigm, which is essentially the system of control, manipulation, and fear, is falling away. And it means that the new paradigm, the one which will be created in abundance, in freedom, in everybody living their best possible lives, is coming. However, most of us, all of us, have been brought up within the old paradigm system. And whilst we might be aware that we want things to be different, we might be aware of the faults of the system that we live within. We might know that there are pathways and doorways out where we can operate in a life of freedom. Separating ourselves from the what is and the what we know might also be a bit challenging. Does this make sense? Like, you might know it, but the day-to-day reality of actually putting that into practice might be a bit of a challenge. And so what we have right now, and we all chose to be here at this point in time, we are the people who are going to build the bridge from the old paradigm to the new. How many of us are on the call now? There's about 70 odd of us on the call. It's down to us. That's it. The future of the planet is down to us, those of us that are on the call this evening. No, but genuinely, this is down to us and the choices that we make right now and the choices that we make for ourselves and our family and our future. So are we ready to have an honest, open, transparent, loving, but truthful, straight to the point conversation? Is everyone available for that? I can see some nods and some got some hands going over here. Yeah. All right. So let's begin this evening. Let's go. Oh, let me get my slides up. Okay. For those of you who don't yet know me, I apologize up front if the odd swear word might pop out of my mouth. I don't think it's big or clever. It's just that sometimes it comes out and sometimes it feels like the only appropriate word to share. So for those of you who don't know me yet, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry if it offends you, but not going to apologize for being myself. But this is the path we are going through this evening. So we've just talked about a little bit about what some of these challenges are or what they may well be. And what I want to talk to you tonight, really my whole intention is about creating a life built with wealth, which isn't just about money, but is most certainly about you living a life that is purposeful. Now, I've been talking about this very actively now for the last year and a bit, but I've been, as you'll see in a moment, I've been teaching people how to manifest money and create wealth for the last 20-something odd years in various ways. And I've been talking about this as being your plan B. But right now, this is not a plan B. What we're talking about tonight needs to be your plan. It needs to be your plan A, because of some of the things we're going to share in this call. The world is changing. It's not going to be happening. The shifts are happening now. Claire and I was talking about this earlier on today, and even though we've been very aware of this, we've been talking about it, we've been guiding those who are already part of our community through this for the last year, it seems to be happening even faster. What excites me about the fact that it's happening faster is it means that time is speeding up, which means the changes will come sooner. But most people are actually blind to the fact that it's coming. They might be very aware of it now, but still not really fully grasp the, I don't want to say the reality, the potential outcomes of what that might look like. So for those who don't yet know me, my name is Yvette. I am at heart a rebel. Like I said, I might swear. I do tend to say it like it is. So please just receive what I share with an open heart. Everything is absolutely meant with love. I like to, I think sometimes, you know, your best friend, the one that can tell you, the one that can tell you like it is, and you just receive it. That's how I want to share with you this evening, because there's no point in us sugarcoating things anymore. But at the same time, we need to realize that there are lots of amazing things that can be done. So I've been on a bit of a mission for helping people change their lives. It's taken me 23 years to get to this point. I'm always a work in progress. But for those who haven't yet met me before, I'm the creator of EAM. The last 8 years I've spent sharing EAM around the globe. We've reached over 41 countries with over 60,000 people. Throughout my personal journey, I've been a coach, I've been a therapist, I've run my own wellbeing center, I've had my own marketing agency. I've also worked on raising millions for funding businesses. I've coached lots of people that some of you might know. And even along the way, I've also had my own property development company. And so what I'm sharing with you tonight isn't just, oh, these are nice things to know. This is what I've spent the last 23 odd years doing, working in both the personal development space, in marketing, in business, and at some point also coaching corporate companies on how to build their businesses for multiple valuations and exit, which all sounds incredibly swanky. But the reason I'm sharing that with you is because, as I said, I am still a work in progress. We all absolutely are. I have made so many mistakes along the way. And what I'm sharing with you now are the things that I wish I'd known 10, 15, 20 years ago. These are things I wish people had told me a long time ago before having to figure this stuff out along the way. Now, the most important things in my life are truth and honesty. My two little boys, I want to say things, they're people, my gorgeous little people, but truly is making sure that we leave this planet in a better place for our kids. And I want to leave a world that our children can thrive in. And so for the last 8 years, that's looked like EAM. That's what I've been sharing. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the energy alignment method, it's actually an internationally recognized complementary therapy. It's a life coaching model. It's a holistic therapy. It's a self-help tool. It's helped tens of thousands of people around the world. And we've got over 150 mentors who are trained and qualified in being able to use this. And I absolutely love this process with every single core of my soul. It has been the biggest blessing in my life. And I honestly have no idea how I'd have got through the last couple of years had it not been for using EAM as a self-alignment tool. It is an incredible mix of science and spirituality. It's definitely grounded in a lot of research and science, over 40 years into the world of understanding quantum physics. Not my 40 years, research of over 40 years. But really what makes EAM different is that unlike most modalities that sit in one camp or the other, they're really focused on either the positive or focused on, where you want to go and what you want to do, or they're really focused on the negative of digging through your past and finding out what the problems were. And what EAM does is brings the two of those things together, and it combines the two. We don't go digging for problems, but we do access our subconscious and find out what the actual challenges are. Now, I don't have much time tonight to talk about EAM itself, and you'll have to come to another one of the masterclasses if you want to talk more about that, because tonight is really focused around money and us creating a plan for our financial future. Now, I'm going to put this as a polite notice. We are all adults, but I just have to make sure with some of these things. Nothing that I am saying tonight is financial advice. I am simply sharing with you my knowledge, my insight, my experience throughout my journey and the many things that I've done over the last 2 decades. Any decisions and choices that you make as a result of being on this masterclass are your own decisions. You are accountable for yourself, and this is the whole premise of us being sovereign beings in the world. And that your implementation is fully in your hands. Of anything I share, please consult a financial advisor. Everything I'm sharing is not to be construed as financial advice. I'm not an accountant, not a financial advisor, and nor am I holding myself out to be. And please do your own research. Any numbers that I'm sharing with you tonight do not guarantee future results. Examples are projections and are for indicative purposes only. They are not a promise at all. So can I just have a yes in the chat? Is everybody clear on that part? Just to be super, super clear, we're all grown-ups, but we're here having an open conversation, and no one's going to come back and say, well, Yvette said later on down the line. Cool, thank you. Freedom to speak now. I've done my disclaimer. I can speak freely. So I know we shared at the beginning, lots of you are new and lots of you are long-time lovers as well. So please give yourself the time to be here and present with this, whether you're joining us live now or whether you're catching up on the replay, whichever way round, please, please, please be here and be present, because what we're talking about tonight, like I said, is not a plan B. This is a plan, and it's one that I highly recommend everybody starts looking at to implement. Ask your questions and comment, please, in the chat. I'm here now, Claire's here now, and even if you're watching on the replay, if you post comments and questions in the chat, it will come through to one of us in the team, and we will come back to you as well. So please do write your questions in there. At the end, I will guide you through the 5 steps of EAM, because I always love to wrap up a call with that. So please stay here with us for this. And I am going to be sharing with you how we might be able to go on the next step and do this together if it feels like a good fit for you. And there's time for questions at the end as well. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, please do grab yourself your worksheet that goes along with this class. If you haven't got a worksheet that goes along with this class, please grab yourself a piece of paper just to write yourself a to-do list of the things you need to do, because everything I'm sharing with you today is about taking aligned action. And those of you who know me already will know that I love to overteach. So I've really had to wind myself in tonight with trying to only share with you what you need to do and why you need to do it, because I don't have time to teach you all of the how, because every single one of these steps has a multitude of other mini micro steps. And I'd be here literally for the next year teaching how to do it. But take notes, ask questions. I'll do my best to give you the answers to the questions that you ask me. And let's see where we get with this class. So today is all about sharing EAM and how you can start putting this into practice around the 9 money manifesting pathways, which is what I'm going to be guiding you through as the plan. But it's also very practical and very grounded, how we are going to build this plan B, how we're going to start creating wealth and protecting ourselves financially from the changes that are about to come or are already happening in the world. Now, what I'm sharing with you is part of our Wealth Through Purpose program. It's a super, super high level walkthrough, just so that there are no surprises what I'll be talking about at the end, because there is only so much I can share in this class, and I'd love to be your guide if it feels like a good fit for the next step. And if not, just enjoy the masterclass, soak it all up and implement what we share. That's my only request, is that you do not allow this to be another one of those classes that you sit and watch. And well done for being here if you that you are anyway. But please don't let this be another one of those things that you sit and watch and promise yourself that you will do, and it ends up just being a blank piece of paper that you never put into action. Please just make a promise to yourself. You don't even need to promise me. Promise yourself that you will implement what we share in the class tonight. Can you just write a yes, or yeah, I agree, or I will? Because I know how many times I've done this, and I'm not sitting here saying that I'm any kind of saint, but these things are literally fundamental to you, your life, your family, and your loved ones. And I really want you to take this with, I don't want to say serious because I want to have fun, but with the level of gravity in which I am imparting what I'm sharing with you tonight. So we are changing systems. I've been saying this for years, but right now, definitely the last 3 years, we have seen more clearly with our light eyes the old paradigm system that has been trying to influence and control, and has done a very successful job of influencing and controlling a lot of our day-to-day life experience. The old paradigm is anything at all, anything in your life that is grounded in fear, in lack, in not enoughness, in blame, shame, fault, guilt, in not feeling good, in being controlled or being powerless. Whether that's a person, whether that's a system, whether that's education, whether that's a relationship, whatever it is, whether it's how you're thinking and feeling, anything that comes from that space is the old paradigm. And it's based on the past. It isn't real. It's all things that we've learned. It's things that have been programmed into us. And it is not how we are meant to be. It is not how human beings live in this world. Everything that EAM is about, everything I'm sharing with you today, everything that the new earth is going to be, is about the new paradigm. It's about living in love. It's about recognizing the abundance that there is all around us. It's about realizing that you are 100% categorically, hands down, the source of everything that happens in your life. Now, that's not always an easy thing to swallow, especially when you think, well, there's all this stuff going on in the world that's influencing me. But when you realize that you are the source, that you are the power, that you are an incredible, energetic being who has the capacity to change whatever is going on in your life by changing what you think and what you feel, and by taking full responsibility for the outcome of everything that's occurred for you, that's where the power really lies. Because whilst we believe that it's something or someone outside of us, our power is diminished. We've given our power away, and it means that we're no longer able to create for ourselves. Just really let that sink in for a moment. Wherever you're feeling fear, wherever you're feeling lack, wherever you're scared of something, the only person creating that is you. We're the only people that shape and influence how we feel. Other things might trigger something within us, but it's the something within us that's within our control. So if you want to be free of fear, this is where the magic of EAM really comes in. Does this make sense to everyone? Useful little reminder. I can see some nods going on there. Thanks, Frog. Does that make sense? You are able to control whatever you're feeling. And once you've got hold of that, you are literally limitless. And that's what the new paradigm way is. That's what new paradigm living is all about. So this isn't a plan B. This really is, as I said, this is your plan A. Everything we're talking about is your plan A. And this is about us diving into the infinite wealth system and creating some magic in our lives. So this is the journey we're about to go through. This is the plan. This ties up with the worksheet that you've got. And this is what we're going to take a look at. So why do we have to act now? What is going on? Why this has become such an urgent thing for us to take a look at? Well, first of all, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but the cost of living has ridiculously increased over the last few months. And this is data based in the UK. I know lots of you are tuning in from around the world, but the process is exactly the same. The same thing has happened the world over. Right now, we are experiencing out of control inflation. In the space of a few weeks, we saw inflation rise from 2 to nearly 11, 12%, 10% in the space in less than that as a number of weeks. And what that's meant is absolutely everything in our lives, food, energy, fuel, cars, everything that we are spending our money on has risen ridiculously, which means that also businesses have had to put their prices up, which means that businesses are often making less money. Some of them might have taken the hit on their prices and not put their prices up because they don't want to lose customers, but that now means that they're making less money. But what you haven't seen going up is people's salaries. But why is the big question? Why is the price of everything going up? And why did this raise so rapidly? Now, this again is a masterclass in and of itself, and I don't have time to go into teaching you all of this today. But when you start to understand how the financial system works, fundamentally, it's built in debt. And the system that we are living in right now has been in operation for over, I want to say over a century. It is over a century. But the reason that we're seeing such massive rises in inflation is because this is the culmination of a series of absolutely disastrous, stupid decisions around the way that our financial system should have been built. And it's the outcome of some things that should never have really happened. But the biggest one is understanding the difference between money and currency and what those two things really are. So money is, without going into a massive old teach around it, money is real precious metal. Gold and silver are the only things that can actually be called money. And way back over 100 years ago, we used to have a financial system that was backed by gold. And back in 1937, I believe, the US government, who are the ringleaders of the whole one of the ringleaders of the financial system, decided to remove gold from the hands of everybody. They also did it here in the UK, I believe, a little bit earlier than that. But essentially what that created was a system that was known as a fiat-based system. We went globally into a fiat-based system in 1971 when Nixon removed the gold standard, and every single currency in the world suddenly became not backed by gold anymore, which meant that every single government was now free to print money, literally print notes, currency, which is what currency is. And what that's actually done is devalued our currency. So the pound in the UK, when this first came into use in 1913, is now worth 128. I think that was probably about 3 months ago. So it's probably changed. The number has actually changed now. But now to purchase the same amount of items that it would have cost 100 years ago, our pound now takes 128 pounds to purchase the same amount of products or items. So what we've seen as this growing, booming economy is actually a false reality. What we've seen is the price of properties, cars, everything going up, but it's because the value of our currencies have been decreasing. Now, fiat currency literally means that it's an authoritative order. This is simply a scheme that government organizations created. There's fiat currencies have been going back for the last 5,000 years. This isn't something new, but it's no longer backed by gold or silver. It means that it's free floating, and it gives governments the opportunity to do whatever the hell they like with their money. The challenge with that is every single fiat currency in history has failed, and there have been tens and tens of thousands of fiat currencies when you go all the way back to the Egyptians, right the way throughout the Roman dynasty and their reign as well. Every single fiat-backed system has crumbled, and every single time what you see happen when the fiat system collapses is that we go back to a system based in gold and silver, because it is a physical, real world commodity that holds value. Now, what we're seeing at the moment is this massive rise, is the drastic fall in the value of our currencies, and it's happening worldwide. Now, because of this, what we're starting to see is a real hit on people's income, because the money that we have coming in every month is probably staying the same for many, but we're starting to see that last little pot that we had at the end for enjoying our life and creating wealth and doing things that we wanted is now being depleted, because we're seeing the rising cost of mortgages going through the roof, gas and electric, council tax bills, the price of family food. Now, at the end of every month, most people are finding themselves left in debt instead of feeling like they are left with abundance, because they've usually only got one income stream. Now, the other challenge that we have is that the system that I've just been talking about is fundamentally dead. It's a debt-based system. It always has been. But what's happened, particularly the last 2 years, every single government on the planet printed their way out of the global pandemic. And in the UK, they printed as much currency in the last 2 years as they had printed over the last 10. Now, the impact of that gets felt somewhere. And right now, our national debt is, I don't even know what this number is, but 2,492 billion, or around 98% of our gross domestic product, which means that all of the output from our industry here in the UK, and you can look at the figures for this in every other country as well, pretty much 99% of the money that is generated in this country right now is going on paying off debts. And the big question I want you to be asking yourself is, who is that debt being paid to? Because that's where our taxes and our inheritance tax we pay, our personal tax, our corporation tax, our VAT, all of those things are not going on fixing roads or healthcare or schools or hospitals. They are going on paying off this national debt. Now, the fourth part I want you to really consider, and again, this probably isn't news to many of you that are here, but I think for many people in the wider world are now starting to realize that we have all been living a lie. And it's a lie that our entire connected old paradigm system is built around. The banks, the government, and I'm saying the governments, the taxing systems, which are not part of the government, are in fact separate legal companies, and the healthcare system are all in fact one system, fundamentally owned or managed or governed by one group of people. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, this sounds like a conspiracy theory conversation. It really isn't. And as you start to unpack this, I'm sure that this is resonating with many of you. You've seen it for yourself in many places, or you might at least be asking yourself the question. And everything I've shared with you are things that I can show you and absolutely point out to you where this all comes together. And I'm definitely not the only person in the world speaking about this. There are thousands of people out there bringing a lot of the truth of this to light. Now, the challenge we have with that is we've all brought into the illusion. The whole system has been designed to allow many people to grow up believing that the only way to make money is to get a job, maybe stretch yourself to owning a business, to work 40 hours a week, to get paid just over broke, which is what job stands for, just over broke, just enough to get by, to rinse and repeat at the end of the month, and to get a mortgage that you're then tied to for the next 30, 40 years of your life, to then pay taxes, to accumulate a whole bunch of debt. And maybe when we're in our 60s, we might be lucky enough to retire and spend some of the money that we've spent the last 40 years generating. Now, this whole system is not set up to allow the majority of people to create wealth. So I'm sharing this with you because this isn't your fault. This isn't our fault. And I'm not saying this in any way to place blame. It's what we've all been taught. It's what our parents were taught. It's what the education system has been set up to design for. And it's up to us to find a way to re-educate ourselves, to look at the truth of what's going on, and to start doing the absolute opposite of everything that we've been told, because it isn't set up to help you live a life of abundance. It's set up to energetically and practically keep you stuck, enslaved in a system that benefits the few and not the many. Now, with that said, taking full responsibility, our current financial system, or our current financial position, wherever we are right now, is based on our past choices. I know myself that I haven't been an angel with money throughout the whole of my life. Does anyone else here feel like they know that they have absolutely fucked up and made some big mistakes along the way? See some big smiles on your faces. Who knows they've fucked up their money stuff? I did say that I would say, just quick show of hands, or give me a yes in the chat. Who knows they've screwed things up? And why? Because we were never educated about how to handle money. Who remembers sitting in that lesson at school where they were like, this is how you handle money, this is how you manage money, this is profit, this is revenue, this is income, this is tax. Who remembers that lesson? No one, because they never taught us. And the reason that they didn't teach us is because empowerment around our wealth and understanding how to create money means that you are no longer easily maneuverable within the system. So it is up to us now, knowing that we've screwed things up before, to get educated. It is up to us to make sure that we actually start making better decisions with the knowledge we now have, which includes our past mistakes and the things that we've done. But ultimately, those decisions that we had in the past were based in the old paradigm. We probably made those decisions from fear, the things that screwed us up. We might have made those decisions from lack. We might have gone into things blindly, panicking, thinking, oh my God, this one thing's just going to be the thing that completely saves my life, and then thrown all your money into it only to end up being burnt. Or maybe we've been controlled, or maybe it's connected to love. Like, there's 1,000 reasons why we may have messed up our money stuff in the past. But there are also so many reasons why, once you get clear and aligned within yourself, that you get to start making different decisions. And it all ties back into choosing which life you want to live. Do you want to live a life in fear, being limited by the system or the things that we've been taught? Or do you want to live a life in abundance? Which one do you want? Actually, just while I have a glass of water, in the chat, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Sally said, oh yes, me, abundant, abundant, please, abundant, abundant, abundant. And it's all a choice. Like, this is the thing, we get to choose right now. We all know that we've screwed things up at some point. And if we are going to continue trying to survive on just one income stream, with the rising costs, with all the crap that's going on right now, we're going to end up in exactly the same place. We're just creating more of the same stories. And we're done with that. We're done with the old stories. We want to get to that point where we are really creating abundance. And that's what we're going to be talking about now. So I love that. Let's make that decision that we are going to live in abundance. And this is where you now need to think about, what is your plan? Now, I'm sure some of you may have heard of this before, the 80-20 rule. This applies in almost everything in the world. When you look at a group of people, there'll be 20% of people who might create the success, and 80% of people won't take the action. Whatever it applies to, I've seen this come up time and time again. Now, when it comes to changing our money or managing anything to do with our money, the 80-20 rule applies as well. And I will say, hand on heart, 80% of our money stuff comes down to our flow state. And by our flow state, what I mean is being really clear what it is that we want to do, which is the vision, being fully in alignment with our energy, which is our flow state, which I'll talk more to in a moment. 20% of it is our mindset, what we're thinking, what's going through our mind. 20% of that is our emotions, how we're feeling day to day. And 20%, the last 20%, is the aligned actions that you take only when you are fully in flow. 80%, or not 80%, you're 100% in flow, but your energy is in alignment. It's about us taking these next steps, but only when we've got ourselves in the right place first. People are living in this heavy, stressed out energy. People call it stress, but we actually call it energy reversals. And some of you may have seen, this is one of the core concepts of EAM, is that there are actually 3 flow states. More often than not, when people are talking about manifesting or manifesting money or getting in flow, they will be talking about one of the flow state, which is the receptive energy. They forget to tell you is that there are actually 2 other flow states. And it's not that they forget to tell you, it's that most people aren't even aware that there are 2 other flows of energy. Now, reversed energy is all those situations in your life where you are repeating old patterns. You recognize that you're going through Groundhog Day. You might be going over the same thing time and time again. This often comes up around money stuff, where you might be repeating the same story year after year, decade after decade, replaying exactly the same patterns and never moving forward. Or you might have resistance, which is that kind of push-pull energy where you know that you want to do something, but there's often a fear or a doubt or an inner voice or a critical something popping up that makes you second guess yourself, and you therefore end up not taking the action that you know you could or would like to. And then you've got the receptive energy. Does that all make sense? Has everyone experienced one of those 3 flow states? Probably about 20,000 times just today. But when we're talking about energy, when I'm talking about flow, everything we do is about letting go of those reversals or resistances and shifting our energy into the receptive state. Because when we're in receptive state, that's when magic starts to appear in our life. And this is exactly what we use EAM for. So as we're going through, you'll see these big purple slides. These are the actions that I want you to write down in your worksheet. I'll prompt you to pop these down, but the things that you are going to need in order to navigate this is keeping ourselves in flow. You are going to need something, of course, I'm going to recommend EAM, that will keep you in flow so that you can keep on moving forward. Because just pop back to this slide. When we are stuck, when we're in reversal, when we have resistances, we will either be moving backwards in our life and therefore not progressing forward, or we will stay stuck exactly where we are. Okay, so if you've got anything in your life that's in reversal energy, if you were looking at this as a pathway or your progress, receptive energy is where you progress. This is where you start moving forward. If you've got things in your life that are in reversal or in resistance, unless or until you change them, they will continue to pull you back or keep you stuck exactly where you are. And having something in your hands, and many of you are on here, I know, already use EAM, but ask yourself honestly, do you use it enough? Are you applying it to everything as it's coming up? But you need a tool in your life to help you stay in flow and to create the change. And that's exactly what EAM can help you do. Now, more importantly, the reason I'm sharing this is because it allows you to stay in flow. It helps you to create real change. It literally rewires your brain. It will give you the motivation and energy to get on with the stuff that you know that you need to do when you're in flow. It also helps you manifest and declares an intention with the universe. It changes the patterns in your energy field and basically gets you out of your own way because more often than not, we are the problem. And it's not just what we're thinking, it's the things that are held in our energy field from our past. You can use it all of the time. And I want you to get into the habit of recognizing how you're feeling, letting go of the self-sabotage. You can use it on physical pain, working on what's going on. If you're entering a challenging situation, apply it to that. Like, it works on everything, but it only works when you use this. And this is really the basis of everything I'm talking about here inside the infinite wealth system as well. All of this is about applying EAM to every single one of these things. It's about looking at your energy. It's about looking at your mindset. It's about looking at your emotions in relation to each of the things that I'm sharing here. It's about changing the relationships you have with other people and then taking the aligned actions around all of this. So for each one of these, I'm going to be sharing with you one thing for you to go and take a look at. I say one thing. I'm going to try not to overteach. And I want you to realize that there are also about 10 other things under every single one of these headings that I can't share with you tonight simply because, or today, just because of time. So number one, in your box at the top that says energy principles, we first have to recognize that everything is energy. We've just had a big conversation around that. But particularly when it comes to money, there is an infinite energy of money. Money is abundant in the world. And when money is lovingly respected and taken care of, there is more than enough money available for everybody. And many of the challenges that we see are simply because people have been operating within the old paradigm. They've been operating from fear and scarcity, from lack, from greed, from control and manipulation, which then, of course, goes on to create the problems that we see. So our work within this is to, first of all, and please write this one down, keep your energy systems working. What do I mean by your energy systems? You are an incredible energy field. There are 6 energy systems that I teach you how to apply an EAM to. And this is like having the plumbing system in your house working. You need to make sure that the water itself is flowing, and that water is chi, that energy is moving through you. Most challenges we experience in life, whether it's money, relationships, health, stress, overwhelm, exhaustion, not being able to manifest, problems with our job, whatever it is, comes down to energy stuck in one of these energy systems, or one of these energy systems not working in the way that it should be. And just like going to the gym, you might go to the gym and do like a whole day of workout and think, oh my God, yeah, I'm really amazing. I've done so well. And you feel great for about 2 or 3 days. And then the chocolate starts to creep back in, as I got very frustrated with my fridge today because there was no chocolate in there, despite how many times I went and opened it. But this also takes practice. Getting your energy systems open and aligned and functioning well isn't a one-off thing. It is a journey, it is an art, and it is something you need to keep on aligning yourself to, because life still happens. So there are 6 energy systems I teach you. One is the 3 flows, which I've just shared. One is your funnels. One is the fields, as in your aura, your chakras, your channels, which are the meridians, and your energy centers. Now, each of these play a different part. Our funnels help us to manifest things faster. Our energy field is where all of our hidden limitations are held. Our subconscious is held. Everything that's ever happened to you, thoughts, beliefs, emotions, whether you remember them or not, is all stored in your energy field. And it's all about being able to pay attention to the signs and signals that our energy system is giving us. And it's our chakras that are our guidance. They are reading the energy field constantly. They're telling us what we're feeling. They're telling us what we're thinking. They're telling us what's stuck in our energy, that sicky feeling you feel when you think about money, or when you think about having that conversation with someone, or that pattern that you keep on repeating of avoiding picking up the phone, is all down to what's held in your energy field. And your chakras are reading the situation and giving you energy feedback all the time, which is what we experience as our emotions. Now, your energy runs through that system, through our meridians, which are essentially like the blood within the system. They're like the capillaries, the veins, and the arteries. And your energy centers are what attracts and magnetizes energy to you, specifically a system called your head, your heart, and your hara. Now, when you can keep these 6 systems open and functioning, that's when you create alignment, and you'll see just there in the middle. True alignment is when you've got the whole energy system working and it's operating as optimally as it can. And there are many, many things that you can do. Obviously, EAM is the core of all of that, but working on strengthening these energy systems, opening your energy fields, so that you can be fully in flow. And that's really the core foundation of EAM. All of the exercises that we do are working on your energy system in some way. Now, step 2 of the 9 money manifesting pathways is about freedom from debt. So your action here is probably not going to be what you might be thinking. I am not going to tell you to set up an IVA or a debt repayment plan. I want to show you how to break free of the matrix and the debt-based system. This is a red pill, blue pill moment. This is about recognizing that the system that we've been operating within is most certainly not set up and designed for us. Again, this is like a 10-hour masterclass in and of itself to get your head around this system as it really truly is. But essentially, at the very core of it, there are 2 versions of you. Who knew? Sometimes it might feel like there are 2 versions of you, but there are 2 versions of you when it comes to the world of commerce. And the one at the bottom, the legal entity you, is the one that is carrying the debt. The legal entity version of you is the one who has been created by the system. And there is a whole understanding of how that gets created, but it's the one that is operating and carrying the burden. This version of you is the one who holds the debt, when truly the you, the real you, the one that is here on the call or watching the replay, is the living spiritual soul. And you are completely different to the legal entity. The living, breathing spiritual soul is sovereign. Now, you might have heard these terms like I'm sovereign being and I am independent, but you really are within the legal system and you are anyway, you don't need a legal system to tell you that, the living spiritual soul is not the person who operates within the system. We've just all been conditioned to believe that we are. We've all been conditioned to believe that we are the legal entity. Now, this may sound a bit way out there, but imagine the legal entity as like an avatar of you. It's not real. It doesn't actually exist. It might feel very real, but the system itself isn't designed for people, living, breathing souls. It only recognizes these fictional characters on paper. And I can't say that you can wave a magic wand and all of you can't just sit there and go, right, I'm operating as a spiritual soul today and that's it. But when you start to, first of all, understand the system as it is, and then start to learn how to apply that in the real world, you can then take aligned action steps to be free of the debts that have been placed upon your spiritual soul, and therefore create a hell of a lot more space in your life, because you're no longer paying off the burden of debt. This is not about in any way trying to absolve ourselves of problems or things that, you know, money that we owe. This is really important that I say this. This is about recognizing the debt-based system and the fraud and deception that many people aren't even aware have actually been placed upon them. Is this making sense to anyone? Most of the debts that many people have, that they are spending their time and most precious resource, their time, every single month to earn money, to pay off debts that don't really exist. And it's this stuff, if you want to see a vet swear, it's this stuff that really bugs me off. because your time is your life, and so many people are trapped in a process of going to work every single month or every single day to earn just about enough money to pay a mortgage, which is actually an illegal debt, or clearing debts from mistakes that they've made in the past, and never having enough money left at the end of the month to even be able to live their life. And that is what breaks my heart, because it's all bullshit. Who would love to be free of all their debts? Who would like them all to just... I've never seen so many hands fly all up at once. It's like, yes. And again, it's a really big conversation. It's a really big conversation. But when you understand it, there are potentially ways to even go back and reclaim mortgages that you have paid off. Who would like to receive the money back on some of the mortgages that they have paid at some point throughout their life? Yeah. So listen, everything I'm sharing with you is legal. So for some of you will be like, what the hell is she talking about? And for today, I'll have to let you not read between the lines, but it's such a big conversation to unpack. And some of you have already been through the journey of unpacking some of this with me, and I'm sure probably have had your eyes widened, opened. And I'm not the only person talking about it. But the reason I'm saying this to you is because I want you to be free. I want everyone to be free, and I want money in the hands of good people. That's the whole purpose of what we're sharing tonight. Because I know that if you had 100K in your bank, or if you had $1 million in your bank, how many of you know that you would be doing something good in the world? Like there's a project, there's a charity, there's a something that you would go and make a difference to, whether it's your friends, whether it's your family, it's your loved ones, you'd be doing something amazing with your money. That's why I'm doing this. Other than the fact that I like to rebel. But I want money out there in the world in the hands of good people. And we can't do that whilst we're operating within a system that's controlling us and built on deception. Does this make sense? Okay. So it's all about the freedom. Oh, Justin, Laura, hello, gorgeous. Sorry. I haven't seen you for ages. Right, let me get back to what we're doing anyway. So this one's a big one, and it is one that I get very, 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 very passionate about, because it doesn't need to be that way. And it's the thing that keeps most people trapped. So number 3 is about looking at how you spend and save your money. And again, because of what we were just talking about, most people are oblivious. We might have some very bad habits around money, like having spent all of it before it even arrives in our bank account, or, you know, it gets to payday and you're like, oh my God, I've got loads of money. Let's go buy some new clothes and have a pizza and do a blah, blah, blah. And by the end of the weekend, you've blown a majority of what was there. And then we spend the next month waiting for the next payday. And for me, that is an utterly heartbreaking way for people to live. So there are some things that I want you to do, which are really about learning. And again, it's more than I can share today. It's learning, first of all, how to break those habits, because those habits are just things that are coded into your energy field, into your energy system. They're thoughts, they're beliefs, they're self-sabotaging patterns that we've learned along the way. But when you start to become conscious about what you spend and where you spend it, and start seeing that the money we're spending is actually aligned to our journey of evolution, and we start to spend the money that we have in alignment with things that will keep us, so physiological, as an example, is food, priority, heating, priority, roof over your head, priority. Like those things, heating or keeping warm, those things are fundamental, and water. Those things are absolutely fundamental to everybody, like day-to-day living. Most people can't function if you don't have that. If you don't have a home, you're not going to be focused on being loving or caring to anyone else. If you haven't eaten, how many of you know turn into a big angry bear if you haven't eaten for like even just a few hours? You know that if you haven't eaten, like, you can't function. Whoever has those days, it's like, oh my God, I feel so tired or exhausted. It gets like 3 o'clock and you think, oh God, I haven't eaten anything. Like, you can't physiologically function. So there's much more to it than this. But when you start thinking about, is what I'm spending actually helping me progress? That's essentially what I want you to think. Will this progress my life further towards where I want to be, into that place of feeling expanded, being creative, living my purpose, realizing who I am, stepping into my power? Does it fit into one of these 5 areas? And if it doesn't in some way help you along that journey, then it's about consciously deciding to not waste your money. And I'll tell you why. It's because we want to start getting money to come into element 4. Now, this is where we get to have lots of fun. This is one of my favorite and a very practical kind of hands-on space. So step 4, the 4th money manifesting pathway, is about creating and manifesting our wealth. And what I want you to do here, this is the biggest one, other than clearing your debt. I say they're all the biggest one. They're all important. They're just all important. I want you to think about creating at least 3 to 5 abundance accelerators. Now, what are abundance accelerators? So what we call them, I call them abundance accelerators because they're not just additional streams of income, because these are really tangible, real world wealth tools, which work to create more money for you. Okay. This isn't like go and get another job and work more hours every day. This is put in additional income streams. Most people are struggling because they're either living on one income, or even if you are in a 2-person household, most people will still struggle to thrive right now on 2 full-time incomes because of all of these cost of living increases. Everybody needs additional streams of income. If you imagine that you are floating on a boat out at sea and you have one string tying you to the shore, what the hell do you do when that string breaks? If your whole future and your whole life for you and your family is dependent on one income, That's a really scary place to be. And I get it. And I've spoken to some of you and I know where some of you are at. And this is why I really want you to start thinking about additional ways to create income, because you need to have more than one life raft. Everybody needs to have more than one life raft, because especially with what's going on right now, with the changes in the financial system, anything might disappear, might change, might go in any minute. And I'm not saying that in any way to incite fear. I'm just saying it as a reality check. We have no idea how quickly things can change, and we can't be dependent on a job. You can't even be dependent on just your own business. Of course you can. You have much more freedom because you can choose to keep going out there. But you need to start thinking about additional income as well. So what does that look like? Now, again, there are so many different things that I could teach you here, and I am just going to talk about a couple of them. Think about this for a minute. If we've got one addition, say we had that £3,000 a month coming in that we looked at earlier, with just one abundance accelerator coming in and bringing in, say, another £1.5 a month, which isn't actually that much more money, but all of a sudden you've now got spare money left at the end of the month. And what we then need to start doing is putting that money to work. This isn't just about creating additional income so we've got more money to spend. This is about creating additional income so that we start making the money that we have work with us. I don't like saying work for us, because money is an energy, and I always treat it like a child. Like, you wouldn't put a child to work in the mills. We're past that stage. But money is an energy, and we want to work with money to make more money. Money wants to expand. So we want to start generating more money, so we have more money to start generating more money for us. And that's where we want to start seeing this growing. So now imagine you've got another £3,000 a month coming in. All of a sudden, we start creating a life of financial freedom. And this is a very, very, very different place for most people to live. Now, there are 3 different asset classes, and I'm not going to teach most of them. That's why I've starred them out, because these are things that I'm going to be teaching inside our community called the Parallel. But there are 4 that are really good for you to kind of get started with. And some people who are already in our community are doing this already. So one of the examples I would like to share with you is trading. Forex trading. Now, I'm not suggesting that you all go out and start learning Forex trading, but one of the things that we're sharing with people as abundance accelerators is generating people around 20% per month. Now, I don't know about you, but the only thing that I see going up at that kind of rate is the inflation. And the cost of living is going up at about 20% per month. But this is a chart from one of the traders that we're working with over the last year. And people who put money in with him, this was 16 months ago when he first started, over that period of time have seen a 1,378% increase in the money that they put in. Who would love to see their money going up at that kind of rate? Hello, only 3 of you. Where's the rest of you? Now, this is real. This is real world tangible stuff that's happening. Do I want to share with you? Does anyone want to have some fun with numbers quickly? Let me just see. I don't know if I can do this on here. Hold on 1 second. I'm sidetracking myself, but I want to share this with you because I was going to share it on my phone. Crazy with this one. Let's say, as an example, that you put in £1,000. And at the moment, the returns on this are around 1% a day. Some days it's like 3-4%, but on average it works out at 1%. So let's say that was over 12 months and you left it into compound, and we're not going to include weekends. because everyone needs a little holiday. And you didn't put any more money in. Let's press the button and see what happens. £1,000 would now be looking more like that. And if you look what that's generating you at the end of 12 months, it's now bringing in £2,500 a month if you were to leave that in. Now, for many people, you might be thinking, well, actually, I need this like a little bit sooner than that, or that's not going to change my life as rapidly as I'd like. Let's try it with this, with 3K, she says. Which I know for some might seem like a stretch, but even if you started adding in some of this every month and you got it up to that point where we're looking at 3K in 12 months, by this time next year, you could have around £6,000 a month coming in. Now, even if you took half of that out and left the other half in there working, that's now a really, really, really sexy amount of money for most people to have coming in every month. Does that make sense? Can you see how simple that can be? You don't need another job. You just need to start making our money do something that's useful with our money. That's it. And I know all of you are going to be like, I want the link to that website now. So I'll post that in the chat. I'll post that in the chat. But it doesn't have to be complicated. The reason I'm sharing that with you is because it doesn't have to be complicated. This doesn't mean I need to go and get another job and I need to work harder. That's the old mindset of work equals money equals more work. What we need to do is flip it the other way and get our money working with us instead of feeling like we have to do more to make more, like do more output, exercise, energy, exertion, which is what most people are, where most people get stuck is because we've been so conditioned to believe that that's the only way for us to start making money in this world. So, practical things that we can do. There'll be so many different things that I can share, or that I would love to share. One of the other ones is a crypto project that we're involved in where people have like 10x their money in 10 weeks. I can't promise that again, but there are lots of different ways that you can start to add additional streams of income to what you're doing. Now, I'm going to be honest, and the reason I don't use passive is because it is going to require that you do some work. Okay, let's be real. This isn't just a magic switch that you can flick, or in some cases it is, but not all additional income streams are completely passive. It might take you 3 to 6 months to get them built and to create. And it might be that you work alongside your job, and it might be something that you do in addition to the business that you're already running. But the intention overall is that we change what we spend our time on, that we start actually using our weekends and our evenings to create the additional income streams so that we get to a point where the time and money flips, and the money is now buying us the time, that we now need to no longer exchange our time for money, but instead our money has bought us the time and the freedom. We need to start doing things differently. But it might mean 3 to 6 months of having your head down and being focused on creating additional income. Now, number 5 is this one is receive and ask. And this is, again, this is a huge challenge for most people. I'm certain most of you know that someone owes you money, whether it's in your business or whether it's money that you've lent to family or friends. What most people don't know is that the system actually owes you money. But this is all about calling money back to you. And when we weave this back into an energy perspective, our ability to ask for money comes from, let's call it our head energy, our thinking. Most people struggle because of what they think, what they've been programmed, what we've been taught to believe, the things that we've been through in our past. And in order to start asking for more money to come to us, both from the universe, but also from other people, and owning what it is that you do, we have to shift what's going on in our mindset. It also means we have to open our heart, because actually our voice is a manifestation of our heart, and we need our heart to be fully open and in flow in order to ask for what is right for us, what we truly believe is ours to receive. And then our hara, which is with the third part of our energy system, one of the energy centers, is all about our ability to receive, our ability to manifest. And the reason that most people struggle with manifesting is actually because of the hara energy itself. Now, that's a whole other workshop or lesson in which I could deep dive off the edge into. Most of you've probably heard me talk about this before. But your hara is the seat of your manifestation. And if you've tried manifesting things before and it hasn't come in, it's usually because of our hara energy. But number 5 is making sure that you call back money that's owed to you. And earlier on, when we were talking about the system itself, when you realize how the system is created and how it actually operates, you can actually reclaim, I shouldn't say can, you can potentially reclaim money from your bank from 3 years ago. Every single transaction that goes in and out of your bank doesn't actually go in and out of your bank, and your bank are still holding your money. Bum, bum, bum. There is a way, when you understand how the system works, to actually reclaim the money that went in and out of your bank and have it repaid to you. It's about 70% of all transactions. And that's like bills, mortgages, food shopping, council tax, any number of things. You can actually reclaim those back and then have that money available for you to spend. And you can reclaim that every single year. Now, I know that this may all seem like a weird and wonderful, like, what the hell is this? Where is this financial system that Yvette's talking about? And these are some of the things I want you to realize. It's so much more than just the manifesting. It is really all about taking steps outside of this. Now, number 6 is really the bit for me, which I love and adore. And I truly believe that when we can get the world to this place of everybody knowing their purpose, realizing why they are here, using the skills that they have, allowing themselves to show up in the way that they are meant to, and getting clear on their life path, that we will have an incredible world to live in. And this is really about you stepping into your greatest flow. So many people are stuck in a job or a business or a life doing things just to make ends meet. And I get it. And I understand. And I also know how soul destroying that can be for so many people, because they're not getting to express themselves here on the planet. They might not even know why they're here. They might not know why they're stuck. They might have no idea what it is that they really want to do, but they know that what they're doing isn't bringing them joy. Now, this is about recognizing, one, your life path, which is what I talk about as like the imprint that's been given to you. And there's lots of different ways to find out what your life path is, why you're here. It's understanding the skills that you've learned along the way, your jobs, your career, the things that you've trained in, what you're really truly passionate about. And that might not be the work that you're here for, but it's something that you're passionate about. For me, it's change. For me, it's inspiring people to realize that there is an alternative. It's also about breaking the system or breaking out of the system. But my purpose is to teach. It's like my happy place. And often you'll find yourself living your purpose wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And when you can bring all of these things together along with the right community of people, that's when you truly step into your power. And this is what I talk about as your powerful purpose, which is such an incredible place to be when you get to spend the waking hours of your life when you're working, doing what you're here for. And it's very different to getting up and going to a job just to make ends meet and feeling dead sad and miserable about it by the end of the day. Number 7 is really, if you have a business, creating a business model that will build recurring income. And if you don't have a business, I would highly recommend that you set yourself up as self-employed as a business, because it's incredibly tax efficient. And I'm going to pull wide eyes at you as I say that. It's incredibly tax efficient. So if you have a job and you don't currently have a self-employed business, I highly recommend you think about getting one. I am not a financial advisor, but oh my God, you could get about 20 or 30% more from your money when you set yourself up as a company and use your expenses efficiently. I'm not a tax advisor. Okay. I'm not giving anyone tax advice, but speak to a tax advisor because I'm sure that they'll be able to help you. But the reason I'm saying this is because for most people, the path to freedom is creating a business for themselves. Not everyone's designed to have a business. And maybe it might mean you finding things to do with other people, but there are so many different ways to generate additional income. And to have it work alongside what it is that you do. This is, again, a huge chunk of things to explore and to explain. And it isn't for everyone, but it is for everyone at the same time, because when you understand it, you can find a way to work with it for how you work. You don't have to be out there and be visible. There are ways to build a business. If you're super shy and you like to hide and you don't want to get visible, there are loads of ways to build a business and you don't have to be out there and be visible doing it. But then for those who like to be like, da-da, you might want to be out there and be visible and building something that's making a difference. The reason I love businesses is because it gives you a vehicle for freedom. And it gives you choice. It's one of the most challenging things to do in your life as well. I think entrepreneurship or being a business owner can be one of the most challenging, but one of the most soul expanding things to do as well. So if it isn't something you do right now, I really invite you to explore it. And if it scares the pants off you and isn't something that's on your heart, that's also great. But there are things that you can do that will help you to grow. Number 8 is about managing your profits or managing your money and making profits. So this is really about creating a financial system that helps you to manage the money that you have when it's coming in, allocating the money that you've got into the right places so that you've got money put aside to create more money with every month. You've got money set aside for the things that are going to keep you safe and warm and homed and clothed and all of those things, and money allocated to the places that it needs to be. But most importantly, making sure that every month you're putting money into things that are going to make your money grow, back to what we were talking about at number 4. So the thing that you need to write down here is about really managing our money. And again, we all put a majority of people put their hand up when I asked this question earlier. Who remembers the lessons at school where we got taught how to manage money? Most people have never been shown what to do with that. It comes in, it goes out. It comes in, it goes out. If you've got a business, maybe you've had to learn that somewhere along the way, but it might still come in and go out and come in and go out. But really, this is about becoming fully aware and conscious of the money and the money leaks that we might have in our life, but also making sure that the money that we've got is being kept safe. Now, I'm specifically sharing one aspect of this here because of what is happening in the world right now. I'm just going to come off my slides quickly. At the point today that we're recording this, and anyone watching the replay, there has been a significant collapse of banks around the world recently. Has anyone seen that in the news? Just quick show of hands. Now, if you remember back to the beginning of the call, and I talked about the fiat system and that the value of our coin, our currency, is depleting. And one of the ways in which you can protect yourself and your family is by actually buying precious metals. And the reason that I'm saying that to you, there are two reasons I'm saying this to you. There are about 10 reasons I'm saying this to you. The current banking system, as we know it, is one of the big things that's going through a process of change. And has everyone seen the central bank digital currencies that are potentially coming? Just quick show of hands, the digital currency. This is programmable, controllable money. Okay. And what that means is that programmable, controllable money means that money can be taken from your bank account if they choose to. Money can be stopped from your bank account if they choose to. Your bank account could be closed if they choose to. You may or may not be able to spend money on things you choose to. If you behave in certain ways, you'll be given money. If you don't behave in certain ways, money might be taken away from you. These might all sound like conjecture, but when you actually read the policy that's been set out for the central bank digital currencies, you'll see that it's all there in plain black and white. One of the benefits of the fiat currency system, when we look at paper money, is that it's invisible. It's not controllable. How many people in their family might remember older family members shoving money under the mattress? Like these. No one knew it was there. Some people might even have money stuffed on the mattress still. The challenge is one of many challenges that we have coming up, is that if all of your money is within the central bank digital system, you will not have freedom of the money that you have. And this is why one of the things that we've seen change over the last 2 years is we're moving into this cashless society. Who knows that they are zapping things on their phone far more often than they would like to, just because it's easy, even though that we know that we ought to be using cash. So the reason I'm saying all of this to you is because this is not financial advice. This is something I'm doing myself. And this is something that I'm guiding everyone in our Wealth Through Purpose program to do. And these are some things that I want you to think about. Cash potentially will become irrelevant. The notes and banknotes that we have, if we move to a centralized digital currency, will become irrelevant. So if you have money shoved under your mattress, as wonderful as it is right now, and it might be propping up your head, it will be useless at a point in the future if that's how you're storing your money. Gold and silver, throughout the last 5,000 years, whenever there has been a crash of the fiat currency system, it's always gone back to gold and silver. You can travel anywhere in the world, and if you have a gold or silver coin, somebody will take it from you because it is seen and known as real money. Does that all make sense? Okay, so I wish I'd been organized because I've actually got some here. I highly recommend that you start buying silver bullion. Gold has already had its massive increase. And not to say that gold won't still go up, but right now silver is the one that's set to increase the most dramatically. They reckon it might even reach $600 an ounce. At the moment, it's around $40 an ounce for one coin. So if you buy silver, it's called fractional silver, small denomination. So you want them to be in small silver coins, $1 or 1 ounce coins. If there is a potential global crash, you actually have a currency that will always be used and always be tradable. Someone will always take that silver from you because it's money. That's what actual money is. Does that make sense? Have you all written that down on your to-do list? Okay, fractional silver coins, highly recommend. The other thing, and I do have this on slides, but I can share it with you. The other thing I really recommend that you do, but this is not financial advice. Fuck's sake. I wish I could just say all this stuff. Not financial advice. Get a gold-backed bank account. Okay? Because if the banks, when the banks do close, collapse, change, move to a centralized digital currency, we've seen this happen. Okay, this isn't theory, this isn't conspiracy. We've seen this happen in all the countries where their currencies have crashed. If you think about Greece, Venezuela, Ukraine, when the war broke out, the currency literally can bottom out overnight. And so the money that's in your bank, you might have £10,000 in your bank. All of a sudden, that £10,000 is enough to buy you a loaf of bread. Does that make sense? Okay, and I'm sharing this with you because I want you to be prepared. I am not saying any of this from a place of fear, because we're empowered, we've got a plan, and we know that we can keep ourselves in flow. But these are important things we need to be aware of, and no one's fucking talking about it. So I'd rather have my money sat in a gold-backed bank account, knowing that if shit goes wrong, that my money is protected. If your money is in a gold-backed bank account, and this is money you're not going to use for everyday spending, that's what I'm saying. So if you need to be using it, don't put it in a gold-backed bank account, okay? But if you've got money that's set aside that you know you're not going to be using for something, if you put it in a gold-backed bank account, it's protected from any potential market crashes. Because actually what will happen, they have to hold, the proper ones have to hold the amount of money that you have in physical gold or on physical silver. Does that make sense? So it's like going back to the gold-backed system. Yay! The one that people couldn't mess with. Okay? So get yourself a gold-backed bank account, and I highly recommend buying at least some small denominations of silver as well. So they are two practical money managing things that I want you to think about now. Make sense? And again, each one of these I could sit and talk about for hours and hours and hours, but these are the two big steps that I want you to take, because we don't know what's going to happen. And something I was watching the other day, the woman who runs the US Treasury explained why they have bailed out 3 of the banks is because they are, actually I need to come off my camera, hold on. The reason that they've bailed out 3 of the banks is because they are fundamentally needed for the upkeep of the whole system. However, when questioned what would happen with the normal high street banks, will you bail them out at the same time? The answer was no. So I'm not saying this in any way I'm saying this just be mindful where your money is. Please check with your actual high street bank as well. If you've got more than 85,000 in the UK, you're only insured up to 85. Most banks are normally insured up to 85,000, and anything over and above that may not be paid to you. So you might want to think about moving your money into separate banks, different banks. I'm such a bundle of joy today, aren't I? I want you to be ready. Does that all make sense though? Okay, is this helpful? You sure? Okay. I'm sorry, it's not a happy conversation. Well, it kind of is, because at least we've got a plan. We've got a plan. That's the important thing. So, right, let's whiz on with this. So we are going to get ourselves some gold and silver. We're going to get ourselves a gold-backed bank account because it potentially protects us from things that are going on, because as we know, the fiat currency actually sucks our wealth away over time. And if you've got gold and silver, it's not traceable. That's the other thing. And then the last but not least part is number 9, is all about making an impact. All of this has been about us or our family or our friends, or making sure that we survive and thrive, not survive, but thrive. But for me, this is what number 9 is all about, is about making an impact, is really so that we can have that time and money to do good things with ourselves, with the time and money we have to make a bigger difference in the world. And I did ask you all this question earlier, but just in the chat now, if you had time and money, if your time every day wasn't being taken up with the job or the business or just enough to get by or building what you're creating, if you've reached that point where you are financially free, where you've got 5K, 10K, 15K, 20K, 100K, whatever your number is, rolling in every month consistently, and you know that it's set up, which is wholeheartedly possible, what would you be doing? That's a very big question. But in the chat, what would you be doing? What would that be? I want to know. Traveling the world, painting, going on a cruise. Okay, so after you've done the traveling and the cruising, what are you going to be doing with your time? Running my healing hotel. There we are, Sally. Sally's building a healing hotel. Helping rescue care for abandoned animals. Spending time with loved ones, making amazing memories. Helping homeless people. Setting up a conscious wealth fund to support light workers to do their work in the world. Emma, we need a conversation. That's exactly what we're doing. Teaching, helping build independent communities, changing the education system, helping people create their subconscious, change their subconscious beliefs, helping friends and family, helping to stop knife crime. Like, can you see my point of wealth through purpose? If time and money was in your hands, look how much of a bloody amazing world we would live in. Like, please write that down, pin it up, feel that somewhere in your heart, whatever it is. This is the bit that breaks my heart, because I know how many bloody amazing people there are in the world. And it isn't just you lot here on the call, or it's almost everybody I speak to, whether they would be doing that thing themselves or whether they would be donating to a project that might help with those things, or maybe they'd be giving their time to support those projects, or, you know, whatever it might be. This is what true our human nature is, to help. Our human nature is to help and support everybody else on the planet. And it's because we are stuck in this matrix, it's because we are stuck in this trap, that we aren't getting on with doing the things that would actually make a big fucking difference in the world. Does this make sense? So who's ready to actually change that? And that's a big ask. So please don't just flippantly write in the comment or put your hand up. Like, who's actually ready to change that? Because this, for me, is what the birth of the new paradigm is. It's on us. It is absolutely on us to make these changes. We've seen the governments, we've seen the big systems, blah, 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 blah. They're not here to make this shit happen. They're not here. They have very little interest in seeing health and well-being and amazing food and happiness for all of these people. And it only takes 1% of us, 1% of the planet, for us to actually start creating these shifts and changes. And that isn't actually that many people. I was actually in here the other day and I said those words to a friend of mine. I was like, it's only going to take 1% of us to change the planet. And the light in here went, ooh, like, just went really bright. I was like, oh, okay, I'll take that as a sign. It's only 1%. But truly, for me, this is what Wealth Through Purpose is all about. I want to get you all to that point past that point where we're worrying about time and money, that we're actually just in that place where we have the time, where we have the money, and we're getting on with doing the things that you know that you're here for. I would love to share with you. We've got time for Q&A. Are you all right if I spend 5 minutes and just talk a little bit about the Wealth Through Purpose journey and what that might look like for those of you who aren't in yet? Is that okay? Got some yeses? Perfect. Now, this journey is, I've been teaching this now since probably September. I started sharing Wealth Through Purpose last June, and lots of people jumped in at the beginning because they really heard and felt the energy of what I was talking about. And we've got an amazing community who are on this journey with me already. Some of you are on the call tonight because you just can't get enough. And you're always hanging out wherever we are and whatever we're doing. But this journey is really there because I want money to become something so normal in everybody's life. And for all the reasons that we've just said, I want you to be making your bigger difference in the world and on the planet. At the moment, I am still creating the program. So we're creating this module by module, and this will make sense in a minute, but it's an incredible, the shifts I've seen in people already are amazing. And the thing I love more is actually the support and the community that we have that are in here. This is only for people who want to make a difference in the world. And that doesn't mean that you need to be a Mother Teresa. It just means that you have a big heart, whether that difference is for your family, whether that is for your friends, whether it's because you just want time for yourself. What I mean by this is, I just want good people. That's it. I want to hang out with good people. I don't want to be sharing this stuff with people who are going to use money in any manipulative ways or use money to do bad things in the world. And I don't think they'd be here. We wouldn't be calling them in, but it's important to say this. So this journey is all about us pulling into that manifesting where we started at the beginning of the call. It is this 80-20. It's about us putting that energy in, getting ourselves into alignment, and also taking the practical aligned actions that sit within all of this, because we need to keep ourselves in flow. Now, you've probably got a little bit of a sense from the call today that this isn't a typical money program either. This is like the Matrix. When you say yes and when you step inside, you can't undo what I share with you on the other side. So once you join this journey, you will never, ever see life, energy, creating money, finance, or the wider world the same again. And I mean that in a positive way, because it means that we're going to step outside what we've been brought up to believe and the systems that we've been told to live within. So this is for those who are ready. It is for those who want to use their time and their energy to make a difference, like I said, for themselves or for other people, but they want to be a source of wealth in the world, and they want to be part of the new economy and build alternatives for people. This isn't for people who want to stay stuck where they are, or for people who want to see money as a commodity or a tool to be abused at all. The journey is all about us freeing ourselves from the programming, from the self-sabotage, the things that we know that we might have done in the past, but also being free from the challenges that we have around money. And it's going to take some work, I'm not going to lie, but it's all about you creating the freedom to create wealth. And I share with you already one of the abundance accelerators, just one simple way that you might be able to do that. So we've shared the 9 steps of the 9 money manifesting pathways, but we are doing both sides of the work. This is not just a manifest. Let's all just get ourselves in alignment process. This is all about doing the energy work and taking the practical action as well. So every single element of what I'm going to share with you has got both sides. We are doing the energy work in a really deep, very comprehensive way, looking at what's going on in your energy system. Every module is broken down into these 5 areas. What's happening in your energy system related to that subject, what thoughts and beliefs and patterns and habits have been programmed in that we need to deprogram and reprogram ourselves with something else, what's going on emotionally, and what emotions we need to shift to be in a better place around that aspect of our money, what situations we've been through in our past, like so many of you put your hand up earlier, where we've screwed things up, whether it's around debt, whether it's divorce, whether it's our relationship with other people, whether it's things that we've been involved in where we've lost money. We've all had situations or money traumas. And we need to shift that from our energy field too, because whilst they're still there, we'll end up recreating more of the same. And also the relationships that we've created with other people. So every module we deep dive into that, and we are creating the change in our energy field and reprogramming ourselves so that we operate in a completely different way using the 5 steps of EAM. Now, this is really all about pulling the system together and creating those abundance accelerators as we go. And as I shared earlier, the 80-20 rule: energy, thoughts, emotions, our vision, and taking the actions that will actually get us to where we need to be. So the modules follow everything that I've shared with you in the call today. Element 1 is all about our money energetics. Element 2 is breaking the illusion of the fear debt-based system and seeing through it as it is. Element 3 is all about our conscious spending. Element 4 is all the different abundance accelerators. And inside the program, you're going to get access to our new community called the Parallel, which is fully focused on building these abundance accelerators. This is going to be working on receiving and asking for money, helping you find your life path and your purpose, find your tribe, creating a business that you love on the side or that you step into running full time. And we'll talk more about what I was saying earlier about why you might want to think about that, even if it's something small. Empowered wealth management. And number 9 is how we impact the world. As you can see, there are already some incredible, beautiful people in here creating wealth, making money, building abundance accelerators, getting clear of their debts. They've already started the journey and loving it. This journey, every single module's got different video training and workbooks inside, where you will be able to access inside our training app, which you have on your phone. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you'll be able to access the content, and you can tune in and do it in bite-sized pieces. So if you're on the school run, if you're out with the kids, if you're waiting in the car, if you're traveling to work, you can tune in and do the training. Every 2 weeks, you've got live coaching with me. So it's a call like this where we go much deeper into all of the ins and outs of whatever is coming up for you. I talk more about what's happening in the world. We create some plans. It might be a question that you've got about something that's come up in the program. Whatever it is that comes up. And of course, it's a chance for us to do EAM together and have me coach and guide you through working on things. Every single conversation is completely different. No 2 calls are the same. As well, because I know how often we promise ourselves that we're going to do these things and never actually get around to doing it. So on the other weeks that I am not doing a call, there is going to be another live call with one of our amazing EAM mentors who's going to be live online. So you can put dedicated time in your diary to actually do the work. Okay. Now, the reason we're doing this is because I know how easy it can be to promise yourself that you're going to do things and then you never find the time for it, but you're more likely to commit to others than you are to yourself. So these mentoring calls is a live call. You'll be working on whatever you're on in the program, but the mentor will be there to specifically coach and guide you as you're doing the work. It'll be a group Zoom call like this, but you'll have the chance to ask questions. You'll see her coach and guide other people. But it's really time in your diary with help and support, so you can't say that you got stuck, to actually get help as you're moving through the journey as well. I'm really excited to be bringing these calls out to you as well. But like I said, it is all available inside the app, so you can tune in wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Along with it, I'm also going to give you access to a money manifesting workshop that I ran at the end of last year. But it's a 2-day online training specifically around working on your money and your purpose. You're going to get full access to the Parallel, which is our brand new community solely focused on abundance accelerators, where we're going to introduce a new abundance accelerator every single month. You're also going to get access to the EAM Foundation training, and I'm bringing my gorgeous friend in, Janine, who is my Feng Shui ninja who comes in and feng shuis my house every year, to how you need to organize and declutter your home and set it up to create wealth as well, because your home matters a lot. So this full journey, when it's complete, is going to be 2988, and that's going to be for a whole year of coaching. But right now, because I am in the process of creating it still, when you join us right now, and I'm ahead of you, there's content in there, there's loads for you to get on with, you can join us now for just 1888. And yes, I do like the number 8, but that's less than £40 a week to have us there alongside you while you're implementing all of these things, while you're creating all these changes, to have me lovingly kick you in the arse. But most importantly, not that you need kicking in the arse, but having that space, maybe you do, having that space to know that people are there that have got your back, that you've got the community there, you've got a call with either me or one of the team, and you've got the space there to keep you focused, because who you hang around with right now, especially over these next couple of years, is going to be really, really fundamental to your ability to cope and manifest through this whole pathway. Because if we start to listen to the mainstream news, if we start to listen to some other people who might be a little bit more negative, focused on what's going on, not able to see the positives in what we're doing, helping to find a different step or a different idea, it can be really easy for our energy to become drained. So if you join today and pay in full, I'll also pay for your first abundance accelerator. So it'll be the copy trading one. We will put some money in to set up your account and get you started on that if you join and pay us in full. And if that's too much of a stretch right now, and I get it, the whole point is us helping you make more money, you can come in and join us for just 188 a month, and you can choose, it's 12 months to do it. But if life gets in the way or becomes a bit of a challenge, then just talk to us around that as well. So please do not let the money that's in your bank or not in your bank right now be the thing that gets in the way. And if you've got any questions about any of that or need to talk to us about a payment plan, then please speak to Claire, book a call. I'll show you the link in a minute, and I'll ask Claire very nicely to pop it in the chat. Come and join us today on www.infin8 wealth.com/say yes. And you can come and jump in and join us. And because she's going to totally kill me for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I love to inspire those of you who are still here. Go you, after all this amount of time. For those of you who do come in and join, the first 5 of you to come in and join us and pay in full, I'm going to do a one-to-one with you as well. But please don't tell Claire, because she's going to tell me off that I've said this.
Because Claire doesn't have ears and can't hear what she's saying.
I thought she disappeared. I thought she might have gone to get a cup of tea. But the first 5 of you that come in and join us and pay in full to do this, I'm going to do one-to-one with you. Because I really want to get you. The £40 a week, it's not £40 a month, £40 a week is what it works out to if you pay in full. £40 a month would be lovely, but it's £40 a week. So we'll pop the link in the chat. Come in and join us, and please don't let money be the thing that stands in the way. There is let me just share this last little bit with you. There's a link there as well to book a call with Claire and speak to Claire and see what the next steps might be. And I know, and this is completely new as well, actually, I've had so many of you who really want to do it, know that working in a group program isn't necessarily your thing in a big group, but you're much better in a smaller group. So I am going to be opening up an opportunity for 10 people to be working with me personally throughout the year in a small group, or potentially the opportunity to do this with me one-to-one. So if that feels like it's calling you, you will need to have a call with me, because I need to see that we're a really good fit. and more importantly, for me to make sure that I can actually help you. And this is for everybody, but probably more for those who are either creating a business, have a business, or know that they want to build one. Doesn't mean that's the only reason that you can join that, but particularly when it's focused around that, because there's lots of different things that I can help you to do in terms of accelerating your path, your journey, getting things set up in a faster way to help you bring in money very quickly through those avenues. So if any of that's ringing a bell, then please book a call and talk to us as well, because I don't want anyone to leave here feeling like, oh, well, that was a nice 90 minutes, but I don't know what the next steps are, because there are options. There really are, for wherever you're at right now. So my promise is really, really important. And the reason I'm saying this now is because I know how many times I've been on a call like this and someone's promised me what felt like the earth, and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the best thing ever. It's going to completely change my life. And then I've committed to it only to find out that the promises they made were a load of shit. Sorry, that's the only technical term. It didn't deliver on what I thought it was going to. And that isn't how we roll at all. So this is my promise to you. If you come in and join, when you come in and join us in the program, and you complete the modules and you implement what I've taught you, and this is where your commitment comes in, you have implemented the things that we've taught you, particularly module 4, the abundance accelerators. If you haven't made at least double what you've invested in joining us in the program, then I will refund the money for your program. And the reason I know that I can say that is because I know that what we're sharing with you works. And I absolutely know, hand on heart, that it does. And I didn't want this program to be another one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm just going to manifest my way through. Because as much as I was saying it like I don't teach manifesting, I freaking teach manifesting. But I also know that 80% of the time it's what we've got going on up here. And as much as I can teach you manifesting, you living it is something completely different. And that's why we've got the abundance accelerators. I wanted to make sure there was practical things in there that can actually help you make the money, because when you actually have the practical things making the money, then guess what? Your manifesting speeds up like that, because your mindset's no longer doing the monkey mind chatter. Does that make sense? It's like when you're actually making money, now your brain can't tell you you've not got any money, because now you're making money. So when we've got the two things working together, now we start to create some real magic. So that's it. That's all there is to share about the journey. I would absolutely love to be your guide along the way. Want to make sure that you've got a plan. And what I've shared with you tonight, if you go and implement even 2 of those things, particularly gold backed bank account and abundance accelerators, will be fundamentally life-changing for you right now, particularly with everything else that's coming up. Okay, so I can see some questions popping up in the chat. Now it's Q&A time, and I am going to wrap up with step 5 as well. So questions. Let me, if I missed any questions anywhere at all, because I've been prattling on. No, I haven't. I've been teaching. It's giving me the information Jenny said the Wealth Through Purpose training has given me the information I've wanted all my life. Thank you, darling. And you've done loads in the program. You've been implementing. I have to say, you've been bloody brilliant at implementing.
Jessica is asking a really good question.
Yeah.
Will all of the things I learn be just as easy for me living in the US, like bank information, etc.?
Yes, they will. So actually, it's interesting you say the US. You'll see inside the program, the 2 main countries that are pivotal in the whole financial system globally are the UK and the US. And there are 160 countries. I'm saying 160, I can't remember if it's 160 or 110, but anyway, all the major countries in the world are operating this financial system, and it's exactly the same. Basically, where you've got a fiat-backed system, the financial system is exactly the same, and it's all run and operated by the IRS and the Federal Reserve in the USA. So yes, wherever you are in the world, the system is pretty much the same. The debt-based yeah, basically wherever is Canada, USA, Australia, Germany, Netherlands, like all over the place. So yes, in answer to that. The copy trading app. So the copy trading app is not, it's not just me telling you the copy trading app. The copy trading app, I can tell you the name of it is called RoboForex, but unless you actually know which traders to go and connect with, you will not be getting those 20% returns. So if you are interested in finding out about that, please drop us an email, let us know. I will be doing a call for that for people who are inside the parallel. And that's not me being difficult or being anything other than I want to make sure that you're connected with the right people, because you can also lose a shitload of money on Forex trading. As much as the returns, when you've got something that's such incredible returns like that, there is also an opportunity for you to lose a lot of money too. And who you work with is really important. The trader that we're working with has got a bloody incredible track record, and is actually the best trader that they have on that platform. Not all traders are created equal. So if you want to find out about that, please let me know and I'll more than happy connect you with that. It is really good. It's really good. But again, it's one of many things that we'll be talking to you about. Marion says, I need kicking in the arse. I need a massive kick up the arse, says Sarah. Great, maybe I should offer that. There's an extra bonus kick up the arse for those of you that are ready to come and take the leap. Can the government not take your assets away? Many years ago, they raided homes for silver and gold. Are they better to have a mix of coins and gold-backed bank account? Can the government not take your assets away? Who knows what is to come is the short answer to that. And this is why we want to, one of many reasons why, and again, we'll be talking about this in module 4, because we don't know what the changes are going to be in the upcoming financial shifts. We're going to teach you about putting your money into different asset classes, because there might be a massive drop in property. Like, property has always been a big thing, but there might be a massive drop in the property market. And if all your eggs are in one basket and the property market crashes, then you're left yourself in a hole. So we're going to be teaching you about putting money into things like crypto, some into trading, some into property, some into gold and silver. You want to always make sure that your assets are spread across different markets, so that if there is a problem in one, that you still have available assets in other places. And yes, they did take away gold and silver previously, and who knows what they might do when the centralized digital currency comes in. We don't know. I think they would have a very hard job in doing so. But it might be the very thing that you need to have around. Are we best to have a mix of coins and gold and silver backed account? Yes, absolutely. So you definitely don't want to have all of it cashed up in your house, and I would definitely keep stuff in the bank, the gold backed bank account as well. Premium bonds, are premium bonds safe? Premium bonds are basically you giving your money to the financial system to spend your money. So the money that's locked up in a premium bond, not giving you financial advice, is that money consistently making you money every month? That would be my question. I would ask myself, is that consistently making me money every month? Yes or no? Could it be making me more money somewhere else? Would be a question I would ask myself if I was doing this for myself. Daily compound, is that on the Forex? Yes, that is on the Forex trading, on the copy trading. Who runs it, and can the government not affect that? It's run by an independent company, and I'm not sure what you mean by can the government affect that. What's happening in the market, as in the fiat currency system going up and down, yes, absolutely, it will influence it. But the thing with Forex trading is that you can make money when the market's going up, and you can make money when the market's going down. And a qualified specialist trader will be making money with your money even when the markets are going down. Please could I have the link to claim money back from my mortgage? Again, yes, these are, and I'm saying this now because this isn't just about taking the practical steps. There are things that you need to do in order to free yourself energetically from the system as well. Does that make sense? Because we've And yes, of course, I'll share the link with you. That's not a problem. I really want you to also understand the shift that you need to make internally in order to take those steps, because it isn't just a case of go and do that one thing, because at some point you will hit an upper limit within yourself that's like, oh, I'm too scared to take that step. Does that make sense? Like where our own fears creep in, or where the programming that we've been conditioned with will creep up, or, oh, I'm going to get in trouble, or this is going to happen. And if we haven't done the inner work to remove ourselves from the system and the programming that sits behind it, and understand what the system is as well, that we're removing ourselves from, then we're very likely to be stuck in that reverse place. And that's why we're doing the energy work with it. But yes, I'll happily share the link with you, but I want to make sure that you actually can go through the process, because it's like a 6 to maybe 12-month process of calling your money back. It isn't something that is just the flick of a switch where you just fill in a form and it's all done. It's a self-led process that you're going to have to guide yourself through. You're going to have to be writing letters that you get coached on how to do, and sending those letters and dealing with those letters when they come back. And so it's like as much an emotional growth process as it is anything else, as well as the practicality. So it's about you becoming fully responsible and fully sovereign, and having that power and tenacity inside of you to follow through on what you need to do. Does that make sense? That makes sense to everyone? So I'm not being like, oh, I'm not telling you because you're not inside the program. I'm doing this because I want you to achieve what you want to set out to do. So again, if you want to talk to us about that, book a call with Claire, because she can talk to you about how the easy way that we can do that with you. And just make sure that you've done the energy work on it first, because that's a crucial part of the process. Decentralize is something I'm just getting into now. Yeah, we want to decentralize everything. And that's the beautiful thing with crypto. I didn't even go on my crypto rant tonight. The thing I love about crypto is it's a completely decentralized financial system, which the governments can't control. So that's another beautiful doorway that we get to have out as well. Okay. If digital currency comes in, will Forex trading still be valid? There is still going to be trading, whether it's digital currency or fiat currency. The whole financial systems operate on the markets trading from one to the other. Hand on heart, Pauline, I don't know, because they might just create one world currency, which is where it's potentially heading by the year 2030, depending on who we want to listen to. But at the moment, it is what it is. At the moment, we have Forex trading. At the moment, we have different currencies. So Forex is foreign exchange trading, where two countries are trading their values against each other. So who knows is the answer to that question. The thing with the Forex trading is you can pull your money out anytime. So it's not locked in. You can pull it out every day if you need to. So if things start to change, you can pull it out and do what you need to do with it. It's not held in anything. How much would I need to invest? I can't give you financial advice. I would say around £1,000 to start with, but you can get started with less. So all the abundance, the crypto, you can get started with 100. The trading, you can get started with 100. The gold is like 200, but they're not massive amounts to get started with. But obviously, the more that you've got in there working for you, as I showed you with the compound interest calculator, the quicker you're going to start to see those returns coming in. And there's a whole other level of things that we'll talk about within each of those as well. Investing has always intimidated me. Will I be able to do this? Yes. The copy trading, you don't have to do anything. So you don't need to do anything. The trader does the trading. All you do is link your account to them and they do the trading for you. You're not giving their money to them. The money is in your account, but you've just connected your account to their account. So no one's got hold of your money. You can pull your money out, as I said, as and when you want to. Right, should we wrap up with a step 5? Because it's late now, and I'm really honour you guys for still sticking here and continuing. Has this been a useful call? That was the important part. Who feels like they've learned some stuff tonight? Who feels like they've got a plan and it was worth spending this couple of hours together? Yeah? Good. That was the intention. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. All right, let's wrap this up with the gorgeous step 5 together. For those of you who don't know what a step 5 is, it's the last step of EAM. And that's why Jackie's standing with her hands up already, because she knows exactly what to do. So I'm going to invite you to stand with your hands up above your head, palms facing up. And this is where we're going to call in and manifest our next steps together. So repeat these words out loud after me. I'm going to repeat them out loud for you 3 times. Oh, it's been a long one. I am ready to allow myself to receive an infinite source of abundance. I allow this all into my life and energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. I am ready to allow myself to open the doorways and pathways for creating wealth, to step into a world of freedom, to receive abundance in as many ways as possible, to be open to riding this wave of change as easily, smoothly, and in alignment as I can. I commit to focusing on manifesting more money, of knowing I have a plan, of taking aligned actions that is congruent with what I want to create. I allow all of this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. I am ready to allow myself to receive unexpected amounts of money into my bank account, into my life, to allow money to continue to grow and unfold in an abundance of ways. I allow this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. Nice deep breath in and out. Really let that feel into your energy. Hope that's left you feeling expanded and goosebumpy. Thank you. Item number 10, get big girl pants on. Get big boy and big girl pants on. Yes, this is it. This is it. We've been talking about this and dancing around the bush for a year or so now. The change is happening. It's happening now. And there isn't a nice, fluffy way to say that. Shit's about to get real. And we need to be prepared. So you've all got a plan. You've all got things to do. Please just talk to us, okay? Whether you're in the program or not in the program, I want you to come and join the program so that we can support you and keep you all moving forward. But if you're not alone, okay? So please never, ever, ever, ever feel like you're on your own. Just reach out. If we can help in any way we can, then we will. That doesn't mean use and abuse us either, but we are here, okay? You are not on your own going through this. There is a community of people here who are dedicated to this and to you and to flow and to money and to change and to do positive things in the world. And we are one of many. You are one of many people with big hearts. And just remember that, okay? That's why we're doing all of this. So please don't ever feel like you want to give up, because it is happening. The change is happening. We all chose to be here at this point in time, whether we like it or not. Your soul chose this journey. But we're all in this together. So just come be with us. Let's make it happen. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Book a call if you need us. Okay. Right. Love you.